Dwayne Russell.
Good afternoon, Dermot. Yes, we always do say it's a beautiful day for football, but this time we really mean it. There's not a cloud in the sky. It is sunshine all the way, and it's only about 15 degrees, which really is perfect conditions for playing.
You're suggesting sometimes we don't mean it there.
We beat it up sometimes, but the Swans and the Kangaroos, they're not beating it up. They are very, very good contenders this year, and it's going to be a great afternoon, we expect.
At the team of the Kangaroos.
Well, there he is on the bench with Stevens, strangely enough, and Wells, the hero from last week, also named on the bench, but that could change, of course. And they've got some solidity, the Kangaroos. They've got a couple of guys up forward who can kick some goals. They've got Watt at full-back and Colbert at centre-half back. Watt was an understudy to Mick Martin for 4 years.
A look at the Sydney Swans team.
A couple of their goal kickers not on the side. O'Loughlin's not playing and Nick Davis is not playing, so that reduces their goal kicking capacity a little bit. But at the same time, they've got some good players around the ground that are starting to step up, and Leo Barry is one of them in a backline that's probably underrated in so many respects, because Barry took more marks than any Swan player last year. He likes to go for it.
As you said, very interesting to note that Anthony Stevens is starting on the bench. And I'll tell you what, a turf wicket, it's chopped up a little bit. The umpires were saying it's just got a bit crisper, a bit razor back. We could have the blood rule working later on.
Thanks, Robbo. Good afternoon to James Brayshaw.
Yes, good afternoon as Sydney work it inside their forward 50. Quick smart. Goods on the end of that. Kicking inside the 50. Not a lot of breeze. Important game for both clubs. Short he goes. And Schneider ends up on the end of it. Only just travelled the required distance. Nice skills, balanced approach, and generally does the kicking for goal thing pretty well. Shot on the way. His fans like it. His mates like it. Sydney got there first.
All back in the middle in bright sunshine. Ball goes up in the air. Can't get the hand on the ball. Matthews just overran it. Brown, who did the ruck work, got the takeaway. Sinclair long and high inside 50, hoping for Motlop. From 50, which we think is 50. We'll tell you about that shortly. But he drives it straight through the middle. It's a goal apiece.
Decides to kick to himself, just as the umpire called him to go. Comes to the broadcast side. Simpson in good shape here. So tidy overhead for a player of his size. Gets it to Rawlings. Kick to half forward. McKernan in front. Ball carries that player. The Kangaroos through Harvey. Look at the speed of the little man. Closes in. Running shot on goal.
Hale is up forward calling for it. Forced to stop and prop. This is a little handball off. Surely not two in a row. Left foot kick. Doesn't have the carry. Off hands. Petrie. Right spot. Right time.
Highlighted in the pre-match and both fine run with players. To the ground, Ferrito goes for the handball over the top. Almost Simpson. He goes for the underground handball. Ferrito with some hard running. Well done. Long kick inside the forward 50 from that player. They come from all directions. Brown involved. The slap on from Motlop. Picked up and goal for the Kangaroos. Jones was the player. Inaccuracy plaguing Barry Hall. A couple of behinds on the afternoon so far for him. This is Simpson. Left foots it down the line. Hard running from Shannon Grant. Well gathered. Tucked hard against the line. Goes with the left foot kick to half forward. Big mark from Corey McKernan. Nice one grabber from him. Two kicks from goal. Dumps it on Motlop. One out. They'll come in from the side. Big Hale takes the mark and Gibson goes and kicks a goal. A great result for Hale. Another great result for the Kangaroos.
Maybe not so good because he's held up. Messing with it a little. From one back pocket to the other. Bolton, Barry, Jude Bolton again. Now Kirk. Chip kick is good. Jared McVeigh over the top. They have worked it nicely. Craig Bolton to Jude Bolton. Hold the target. Inside 50. Strength of hands like a vice. There's a few things he does to try and relax himself during the week. Takes the Monaro out to the West Sydney Drags as well as one of them. And he drags that through the middle for a much-needed goal to the Swans.
Actually called a Brady before he kicked it to him and turned around. I'm kicking it to you.
High Rawlings, a number of players involved. Brown went to ground. They've got problems back here, the Swans. They've got big problems. Picked up by Petrie, who kicks a goal. But I think the free kick was paid earlier. Let's have a look at it. No, advantage paid, and it's there.
Bounce to restart play. Good first turn for the Kangaroos. 4.5 minutes to go in it. Kick towards half forward from Kirk. Hall thinks about going goalward. Goes with a long handball towards Goods. Shuffles it out to Schneider. Handball over the top and easy as you like. Saddington drops it onto the boot.
Couple of handy goals now to the Swans. They're back in it after being a little shell-shocked early by the Kangaroos. Perfect bounce in the centre. Back it comes to Crouch and now to Kirk, who gets through there too easily. Inside the forward 50 with his kick. Colbert and Hall. Hall's given Colbert some trouble and continues to. Look at the give and go now with the short pass. And Saddington, who kicked the last one, has got a chance to kick another. Kicked one a moment ago. This to get Sydney right back into it. Perfect angle. Good looking kick. It's there.
Thought about giving off to Jude Bolton, thought better of it. Goes with a long kick. Barry Hall has some ground to make up. Gets there well. Got rid of Watt. Dishes off to Williams. Kicks one off the side of the boot towards the goal square deliberately. Saddington was there. Left it for Big Doyle. Kick smothered. Great second effort. Looks upfield. Hasn't got a long target. Just have to pop it up in the air. And now Kennelly is away. Might go long to Saddington, overlooks him, goes wide, Goods. Barry Hall running back to the goal square. Now a free kick has been given to Saddington. He was dealt with after the handball. In fact, to Kennelly, he was dealt with after the handball from Colbert.
One high. Cannot take my hat off enough times within 1 or 2 seconds for the kid Bevan. You called, he came out from the goal square. Who was that came out? Hale, was it? Or
yep.
Bevan backed into that pack. You know, an inexperienced young player. That was just raw courage. That was Lee Colbert stuff, Glenn Archer type stuff. That was just brilliant.
Kennelly long to the goal square. Not a lot of options there for the Swans. Roberts Thompson caught, doesn't get the handball away, and that was probably a good thing to do. No one to give it to, held it in.
That is a very good thing to do. If he gets his hands free then and looks for a handball, he's going to cough it up and give it to the Kangaroos players.
Well, that has been given to the Sydney Swans. Just handed to them. Cardinal sin, and the young man Dermot Burton was just talking about Bevan, has kicked a goal.
Playing on Corey Jones, drifted through the midfield. This kid, his courage, 2 minutes ago. Well, I don't know what Corey Jones is doing down there now. He's very dangerous at the other end. It's amazing how some little selfless acts get rewarded somewhere along the line. Well done.
James looks upfield. O'Keefe makes some room for him. He hugs the line, and Ferrito chops it off in front of the Brownlow medalist Goods, but Goods was sensational. He goes with a short left foot kick to Barry Hall. Can go back to Goods by hand. Goods tucked hard against the line again with a short left footer. This time Schneider dispossessed. Goods is going to have his third crack at this. Will run in and kick a goal.
Make no mistake, when the umpires come to awarding votes at the end of the day, if there is a line ball decision on one of the adjudications being a through, you know, 2 blokes might be up for the 3 voter. If the rest of Goodsy's game is good enough, something like that will just stand out in the eyes of the umpire.
Not taken out. Jones keeps it alive, gets caught. Great tackle. Not rewarded to Fosdyke. Bevan went in hard, then went in high. Umpire said 6 of one, half and a dozen of the other play on. And Jude Bolton got it out to Kirk in the end. Over the top, Fosdyke, Kirk, left it for Maxfield. It's opened up for the Swans. Long kick towards Barry Hall and Goods! Barry Hall, front spot, takes the mark. Well, this kick to give the Swans their biggest lead of the game. 2 goals if he puts it through from there. And that's never in doubt. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. Swans by 2 goals.
Ball forward, Kennelly now, the Swans are looking great. He streams to half forward. Long ball from Ty Kennelly, and they've got another one. 3 goals, 5 they've kicked in this term, the Swans. They're going to get another forward 50 entry here. This is Matthews all on his own. Sideways to Williams. Williams chisels it to half forward, and O'Keefe in some space. Wheels around on the left. Kick smothered. He's going to get it back, O'Keefe. Numbers out there with the Swans. Shannon Grant picks it up. Gets it to the ground. Makepeace dumped into the turf. Free kick play on. McVeigh spins around. Gets the handball to Fosdyke. Kick on the way from that play. Goods. On the line, takes the mark.
Yeah, he got that. Now, as tough as it looks, these are pretty simple for league players to convert from.
They were tough in the 70s and 80s, but now they've got a system.
Yep.
Let's have a look at the system. Goods runs around. Snapshot on goal is there. They are looking very, very good, the Sydney Swans. Fosdyke, South Australian, keeps the ball in. He did that brilliantly. Picked it up, slotted it down the line to Goods. He's got a couple to beat. On the ground, though, the beautiful pickup. Gets around Shannon Grant. Thumping handball inboard to Matthews. Matthews, the short one to Barry Hall. And the big spearhead's got it 40 out directly in front. This to make the lead 31 points. Barry going for his third. Drop punt looks very nice off the boot. He's a class act, Barry Hall, and the Swans roll on. To the ground. Sydney Swans defenders will swoop on it. James was very good. Running from Williams. Half forward to Goods in some space. Barry Hall one out. The kick's going to go in his direction. High. Look at the Kangaroos players needing to stand under the ball. Makepeace. Wrapped up. Saddington off the ground. Bouncing through. 3 goals to Saddington. Stansbury. That's an ill-directed kick. That's a skill error. And Maxfield should go sideways to O'Keefe and does. Halfway through that, O'Keefe, short, Goods. Out of Maxfield. Maxfield load up on the left. Beautiful kick as always. And the Swans have got goal number 13. And he takes the safe mark. Sideways to Bolton. That's Craig Bolton inside the 50. On the bounce, Saddington's hands were sensational. Got it to Kirk. Kirk back by hand. Ball high inside the 50. 3-on-1 situation here, and Saddington can drift in from the side and take a very good mark.
Put pressure on the Sydney Swans coming outward bound with the ball.
Saddington kicks a goal for the Swans, his 4th.
Kennelly, who was on hands and knees. Stevens, it's Michael. Gave it to Simpson, who gave it to Anthony Stevens. Now to Grant. King over the top if he wants him. Goes to the goal square. McKernan with a one-on-one. Can't quite through that to Harvey. He kicks it around the body. And he has driven it home.
Going to affect the outcome.
Lee Colbert.
But the amount of short handballs from the back of the centre square to the front of it, Dwayne, they're just quick hands everywhere.
Maxfield to Barry Hall, who's inspired. Got 3 goals next to his name. Chips it to Goods. Adam Goods, he's got a couple next to his. He goes to Saddington. High ball, and Saddington plucks it out of the air. He's got 4 goals next to his name. He can make it 5. Unselfishly gives it to Kirk. And getting ugly, it's Phyllis Dillon.
You can't move Kingy at the moment. You just got to get him off the ground and say, that's enough, David.
McKernan fed it down to Makepeace. No clean possession. Bevan, hasn't he, had a nice little couple of minutes and about 5 possessions.
He gave that one away, Dermot. He just couldn't quite get down.
Yeah. He's struggling physically at the moment, Kingy.
Bevan with the high one to the hot spot. Barry Hall at the back. Lachlan and Davis to come back as well. They've got some silk, the Swannies. Barry Hall for goal number 4. And that is right through the middle.
They're looking good, especially at the SCG, and here in Canberra they've looked good this afternoon as well. Fosdyke around the body. Saddington, ball eluded him. Little shovel by Ferrito to high kick straight up in the air from the boot of Grimmer. Play on, said the umpire, obviously. Rawlings, Simpson, too wide for Rawlings. He was half held, the umpire saw it, and Simpson will get it back. Spent a bit of his childhood living in Papua New Guinea, did Simpson. Slips it wide to Baird. About to kick it long towards the goal square. Chance for Modler. Little push off, kicks the goal. a late consolation prize for the Roos. In essence, plus a little bit of time on.
Sainsbury kicks to himself and then long down the line. Simpson with a fly from the back. Couldn't take the mark. Just shovels it off the boot, only as far as Matthews. And Matthews can kick it to Kirk at centre-half forward. He can go if he likes. Steps around Sinclair. Left foot shot on goal from Kirk. Looks good, and that's because it is good. Long looking for Corey McKernan. And again, very nice mark. Much travelled, oft maligned footballer Corey McKernan, but he's got a couple of premiership medallions around his neck and some terrific performances in grand finals for the North Melbourne Football Club.
He's marked that one, which is great, but just if we get another look at it in a second where we get a little bit of time, his hands are totally uneven. We've got a mark coming up here to Hale, who marks it clean.
A running goal, this the set shot. So we'll see how he handles this situation. We'll kick from just inside the 50. He's timed that pretty well and managed to slot it through for a goal.
Wide kick from him, hoping for and finding Wells. Maybe too far out to score. Spears a pass, but it's in Leo Barry's direction. Knocked away from him by Grimmer. The first gamer snaps around the body, hoping for and getting his first.
And he's a very good option to have inside your forward 50 as well. Not the height of the other players around him, but lots of talent. Knows where the opening is. Raking left foot delivery, and he sits this at the top of the square. Watt worked his way to the front. Rawlings just picked it up, hacked it out of there, and didn't do a good enough job of it. Goods picks it up. Handball inboard to Schneider. This time he makes no mistake.
Ball back into play. Dying stages of this, I was going to call it contest, but it hasn't been for a while. King to the midfield. Anthony Stevens, who's got an appointment with the tribunal this week for a clash. Bounce, left foot kick, inside 50, dying seconds, and well, James was pushed out illegally by Corey McKernan. 6th season and just his 11th game, Heath James, due to those 11 hamstring injuries that kept him out for a long while. Chipping it wide, and Ablett takes the mark on the wing. Maybe time for one last possession. Over the top. And there it is. The Kangaroos opened up a 25-point lead in the first term with a brilliant start, but it was all the Swans after that. And they have turned it around and ended up being 51-point victors, 18-13, 121. For the Kangaroos, 10-10, 70.